to mark. And I want to read out what the headline is on page 6 of the Standard. It says, and this is a quote from Raila, and it says, the gains we made are slowly being eroded. And about, the swearing in Uhuru Kenyatta, there has been no attempt at all to reach out to me. It takes two to tango. You cannot negotiate alone. And on his push for justice and democracy, things just don't change for the better on their own. There are people who have paid the price for the freedoms that young people now enjoy. And on the Supreme Court ruling, he says the Supreme Court was blackmailed to give this, the seal of approval. These are all interesting soundbites coming from a man who has been Prime Minister here in Kenya and who continues to say that he stands with the people and that the gains that they fought so hard for in attaining devolution have now been rolled back. Do you think what is expected to happen Tuesday will help actualize what the agenda here is?
Let's honestly consider a few factors. Number one, swearing in Raila Odinga is not going to make him more popular or less popular.
Yes.
He's one of those figures in this country whose popularity and legacy pretty much is intact, okay? Second issue is that there's no shortage of ways by which Raila Odinga can bring about the changes that he wants. Either by continuous picketing in Nairobi, he's shown the capacity to be able to do that.
Yes.
Either by pushing in parliament, by not necessarily, because he does not have the numbers, but he can create a lot of theater in parliament and draw the public attention. So the swearing in of Raila Odinga needs to be understood in that context.
Yes.
And the context is this, that number one, if someone is willing to walk down a path upon which you've threatened him with death, because that's the punishment for high treason, and he's still willing to go ahead, you must consider what is the message that he's passing to you. And he's telling you that I'm willing to pay the ultimate price for whatever it is that I believe in at this point. Now, we have to look at the history of Raila Odinga to prove whether it's possible for him to pay the ultimate price.
Yes.
Number one, this is a fellow who traveled nearly by road and by foot to Europe when you're still young. This is someone who was in the eastern side of the Cold War for many years. This is someone who was imprisoned from 1982 onwards into the 90s. This is someone who's faced tear gas and bullet without blinking an eye. This is someone who we must consider at this space in history who's willing to pay the ultimate price.
Yes.
Therefore, I put it to you that this entire swearing in is not aimed at anything other than bringing the Kenyan government, and by that the Jubilee administration, to react in the manner which they're already prophesying they will. And by that they'll give Raila exactly what he wants. He wants to go to the gallows. He wants to be arrested. Why does he want this? Because it gives him the martyr status. There is a hero status and there is a martyr status. And the moment you give Raila Odinga that, then this movement will stop being about Raila Odinga. It will become an emotional push from his support base about you harassing our person. That's what the real game is here. Because as I said before, you need to understand that for Raila Odinga, whether you consider it is the electoral reform that he's pushing for, or the inclusivity that Dismas talked about, for him and a lot of the people who consider themselves his core support, is they believe that it's come down to the wire and it's about time where we push things to the next level. What he's looking for is that match that lit the tinderbox. That's what he's looking for. And as a country, we have to be genuine and face that reality. And when we face that reality, then the police and the government have to consider how they react to this. Arresting Raila Odinga will not be the solution.
Dismas.